Welcome back students to the video lecture series. I am Adil Mansoori from Civil Engineering Department of LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today the name of the topic is estimation of the sewage. Okay. So quantity of sewage is usually domestic sewage plus industrial sewage, right? Whenever the sewage is generated from the domestic area, it is known as the domestic sewage, and when the sewage is generated from the industrial area, it is known as the industrial sewage. Okay. Now apart from these, this is not the actual quantity of total sewage that has to be treated by the sewage treatment plant. Okay. Now we also need to take into consideration certain additions and deductions to get the actual quantity of sewage to be treated by the sewage treatment plant. Okay, so the first addition is due to the unauthorized private connections. Okay, we all know that in order to either get fresh water or to supply the or to discharge the wastewater generated, we need to get the authorized connection from the governing authority, right? That is the municipality. But certain people do unauthorized connection. For example, they connect the house drain of their houses to the city sewerage network without the consent of the municipality. So that will be considered as an unauthorized private connection. Okay, then there will be addition due to infiltration of the groundwater. As we all know that the sewerage network is laid underground, right? There is a network of pipelines below the surface of the earth. Now at places where the groundwater is very high, and at those places joints are not done properly, then there are 100% chances that the groundwater will percolate through the joints and it will add into the quantity of the sewage generated. Okay, then the third one is the deduction due to water losses. Now we talked about the groundwater or the locations at which the groundwater level is high, but what at those places when the groundwater level is not very high, right? So if at those places the joints are not properly connected and if the leakage is not checked properly, then there are chances that the wastewater will come out of the sewerage network. Okay, so we have to consider those deductions as well. And last one is the deduction due to the water not entering the system. For example, if you are using water for the cooking purpose, then that water will not be entering the sewerage system. Then sprinkled on the roads, so whatever the water is sprinkled on the roads will not be entering the sewage network, and again the water that you use for gardening purpose will definitely not enter the sewerage system. Okay, so this was about the estimation of sewage. Let us now move ahead and talk about the dry weather flow and wet weather flow. So what is dry weather flow and what is wet weather flow? So the dry weather flow will be the wastewater which is generated throughout the year, and it will not contain any kind of rainfall, right? That is, dry weather flow will be equals to domestic sewage plus industrial sewage, right? And wet weather flow will be during the monsoon season, right? That is, it will contain domestic sewage plus industrial sewage as well as the storm water discharge. Okay, so wet weather flow can be considered as dry weather flow plus storm water discharge. Okay, so I hope you must be clear that what is the meaning of dry weather flow and what is the meaning of wet weather flow. Let us have a look at the factors affecting the dry weather flow. So the first factor is the rate of water supply. More is the rate of water supply, more will be the dry weather flow. Okay, then population growth. If the population growth is more, then the dry weather flow that will be generated will be more. The larger is the area, the larger will be the dry weather flow. And last, infiltration and exfiltration. Infiltration means whatever the water is entering the sewerage network apart from the sewage, and exfiltration is the amount of wastewater that is coming out of the sewage without getting or without reaching the sewage treatment plant. Okay, so these were the different factors affecting the dry weather flow. Let us now talk about the design period. So let us talk about the different design periods, right? So first one is the sewerage network. So sewerage network should be designed for the period of 30 years. It means that the design it means that the sewerage network should be providing the service for at least 30 years. Then pumping station, 30 years. Then pumping machineries, it will be 15 years. Sewage treatment plant, it will be for 30 years. And last one is the effluent disposal and utilization, that is for 30 years, right? So effluent means the waste which is coming out of the treatment plant. Understood? Okay, so this was about the design period. Let us now move ahead and talk about the wastewater generated by various industries. Okay, so this is a kind of interesting topic where you will be able to know that which industries produce how much wastewater per unit production, right? So first one is the milk product. So for example, dairy industry, right? So it is producing 20,000 liters of wastewater per ton of the milk products. Okay, then wooden pulp, that is the paper industry, it produces 2,36,000 liters per ton of the paper generated. Okay, then automobile sector, that is 40,000 liters per one vehicle or per unit production, right? Then textile industries produce 8,000 to 14,000 liters of wastewater per 100 kg of textile, that is the cloth produced. Next one is the steel industry, which produces 2,60,000 liters of wastewater per ton of steel production. Okay, so these are the certain data of the various industries which produce wastewater for their unit productions. Okay, let us now move ahead and talk about the estimation of the peak storm water discharge. The peak storm water discharge can be estimated using three different formulas. So the first formula is the rational formula, second one is the Dickens formula, and the third one is the Dredges or the Burgess formula. Okay, so let us have a look at each of these formula one by one. So method 1, that is the rational formula. Okay, it states that Rp will be equals to 1 by 36 kPc into A, where Rp will be peak rate of runoff in Qmax, K will be coefficient of runoff, and Pc will be critical rainfall intensity. Okay, and A will be catchment area in hectares. Okay students, so let us now have a look at the different coefficient of runoff for different surfaces. Okay, so the first one is the asphalt pavement in good condition. So the coefficient of runoff will be 0.85 to 0.9. Okay, then waterbound macadam roads will have the runoff coefficient of 0.25 to 0.60. Then park, lawn or garden will have runoff coefficient of 0.05 to 0.25. Unpaved streets or vacant land will have 0.10 to 0.30 runoff coefficient. Gravel roads will have 0.15 to 0.30 and wooded land will have 0.01 to 0.20 runoff coefficient. Okay, so based on the particular area you can find out the runoff. Okay, peak runoff. Okay, let us now have a look at the method number 2, that is the Dickens formula. Qp equals to Cm raised to 3 by 4, where Qp will be equals to peak drainage discharge in Qmax, M will be catchment area in kilometer square, and C will be constant which will depend on factors affecting the runoff. So these are the different constants and the C values for different area of Gujarat. For Kutch area, the constant is 6. For the North Gujarat, it's between 6 to 11, and for South Gujarat and Saurashtra region, the constant C is 14, right? So let us now move towards the third method, that is the Dredges or the Burgess formula. Okay, so QP is equals to 19.6 into M by L raised to 2 by 3, where QP will be maximum storm drainage discharge, M will be catchment area in kilometer square, and L will be the length of the drainage basin in kilometers. Okay students, I hope you are clear with these three methods, okay, for the finding out the runoff. Okay, let us now move ahead and see what is the meaning of hydraulic design of sewers. Okay, so hydraulic design of sewers means finding out the section, that is the diameter, and gradient, that is the slope on which the sewers are to be placed. Okay, so for this there are two methods, right? And the first method is the Chase's formula, and the second method is the Manning's formula. Okay, so let us have a look at the first method, that is the Chase's formula. So according to the Chase's formula, V, that is the velocity, will be equals to C under root of Rs, where C will be Chase's constant, R will be hydraulic mean depth, and hydraulic mean depth is nothing but the area of flow upon the wetted perimeter, that is equals to A by P, and S will be equals to hydraulic gradient, that is the slope. Okay, so if you know any three parameters, then you can definitely find out the fourth parameter. Okay, so if you know velocity, if you know slope, and if you know the constant of Chase, that is the Chase's constant, then you can definitely find out the hydraulic mean depth, right? And from that you can get the area and perimeter, and from that you can definitely find out the diameter. Okay, so let us have a look at the second method, that is the Manning's formula. So Manning's formula states that V equals to 1 by N, R raised to 2 by 3, and S raised to 1 by 2, where Manning's constant is N and R is the hydraulic mean depth, where R will be equals to area of flow by wetted perimeter, that is A by P, and S will be hydraulic gradient, that is the slope. Okay, so that's all for today's video. In the next video we will be dealing with the derivation of the self-cleansing velocity of wastewater inside a sewer and different characteristics of the sewer, that is the partially full condition and the full condition.